So hello, everyone. It is Thursday night, so that means it's the Empowering Healthy Women 30-minute check-in. This is JoJo Bennington. So happy to be here with you. So excited that I get to share this special, awesome person with you tonight. But first, let me just kind of explain what we're doing. So every Thursday night, we are getting together to talk about women's stuff. So our challenges, our issues, health, mindset, relationships, whatever comes up. So fighting with the scale, fighting with the husband, whatever that happens to look like. We are going to cover all of these different topics just every week, with something different. 30 minutes in and out. We aren't staying over late. So if we hit 6:01, I'm cutting it, and we will address any of the questions that are outstanding in the Facebook page, or we'll address them the following week on the call. And so thank you guys for being here. And so I just want you to know that and I say guys a lot, so call me on that because I'm trying to stop doing that. But my passion is empowering women and looking for little pockets of our time, ways to do that. And so to fill our cup with 30 minutes every week, just where we can talk about our stuff, check in with our little sisterhood community. And I have all these amazing people in my life, and so I want to be able to connect everyone with them. And so I'm just so excited to share with you this amazing human. She's one of my most favorite people in the whole world. She just, she teaches the art of life mastery like no one I've come across. She specializes in helping couples create lives full of love and deep connection. And she's shared the stage speaking with people like Jack Canfield, anybody know Jack Canfield, or Lisa Nichols, Mike Dooley. She's even shared the stage with me. Yeah, but we call her our blissologist. And she's founded Mindset Coaching, and she's also involved in a new project, which I hope she'll share a little bit about. But what I love about her is her intuition. She just has this uncanny ability to see the heart of a problem and be able to offer these little solutions, these just bite-sized doable steps to be able to break down these big complex things that we think are so out of our reach that we can't handle. And she lives in one of my most favorite places in the world, which is Kelowna, British Columbia, with her hubby and her 2 children and her 2 dogs and her 5 chickens. She gets the best eggs ever. But she's really changed our life. Vinny and I, probably without her, wouldn't be where we are in our marriage right now. And so that's really, for us, she's my friend, my mentor, my supporter, my gene washer, my egg boiler. And she's just really an altogether amazing human. So everybody, I want you to meet Miss Beth Hanishewski. Hi, Beth.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
So happy to be here. Yeah, thank you very much for having me, and welcome everybody. I just was messing with the view of the screen, and it's more faces when you change the gallery. So it's awesome. So hello everybody from wherever you are. I know there's people just calling in, or there's people hiding and doesn't want to be seen, but for those of you who are seen in video, hello everyone. So Jojo, where would you like us to start? I'm going to just throw it back to you for a minute just to give us a little direction, and then I can riff as you
Well, I know that, there's probably any topic I could throw at you, and you would just be able to masterfully weave a way for us to be able to be uplifted and supported. But I think that there's just been it's kind of a reoccurring theme recently, not just with me, but with some other people around me that have just been, and probably we all deal with it all the time, just people that we feel in our space that are difficult, and how to have difficult conversations or deal with somebody or something in our life that is, we feel is a difficult person to deal with. And so I just know that I'm going to throw that at you and know that you can just give us some really great tools and ideas and thoughts to be able to deal with those.
Well, we definitely, we can start there for sure. You know, it's funny. I don't know anybody who enjoys difficult conversations. You know, there's very few people that go, oh, can't wait to have that. That sounds awesome. You know, or, you know, when you know there's some tension, or you know there's a problem, or there's a challenge, or you yourself have something you really want to talk about with somebody, it can make the best of us, you know, get into that space of angst. So just by show of hand, how many of you on this call, I know those who just dialing in can't do this, but for those who are here, how many of you are really good at having difficult conversations? Just raise your hand. Yeah, no, I don't. Okay. Liddy, think she's pretty good at it. Awesome. Anybody else really like, that's not easy. That's not difficult for me. Jojo's like, kinda, maybe. Okay, well, that's good. So if it's not difficult for you, then chances are that you usually do something the same. So I'm going to sort of, for those of you who find it a little more challenging, I will tell you what I use in terms of what I think is a good system. And I'm all about systems. I'm all, you know, the relationship formula, if anyone ever heard me speak about that, or I like to use simple things that can make sense, so that when you can tackle a problem, you can apply it to everything. So difficult conversations is no different. So if I have what I think is a difficult conversation, I just want you to sit in that for a minute and think about what makes a conversation difficult. So for those of you who are on the video, you can even chat. What makes conversations difficult? So just even chat, type in a couple things if you want. Just chat, just type away the kind of things that what makes difficult conversations. What is it? Just think about that for a minute. And if you can, just give a little type. You know, for me, one of the things that makes difficult conversations for me, good, here we go. Fearing the other person's reaction. Excellent. Yeah. Saying something you feel might hurt somebody. Yes. Having a difference of opinion and not willing to listen to each other. Great. When the other person is argumentative. Yeah. Being vulnerable. Oh my God. I'm so glad I asked this question. Yay for chat. Yes, all those things, how to even start it, right? How to find the word. Yeah, catch a good comment there. How do you begin? So all of these things are why we all experience some anxiety when you have someone you think you have to have a difficult conversation with. So the first thing I ever do if I have to have this kind of a conversation that I think could go sideways, you know, and that's our fear, right? It's not going to go well, right? Whatever you're going to say, they're either not going to agree with you, or they're going to get defensive, or they're going to think you're a bad person, or maybe, you know, whatever is the thing. You think something bad is going to happen as a result of that. So the first thing I do is set an intention. So we all hear about, oh, we should set intentions, power of intention, but here's where it really, really works. So whenever I have a difficult conversation, the first intention I set right off the bat is that it's going to go easy, or that it's going to be good, or that it's going to be excellent. I just sort of set the tone, and even in my own mind, sort of calling forth the conversation to be easy. And in that intention, I add some spice. So I add, my intention is always that it be the most loving, kind conversation I can have. So that's a good way that I find to position something. So even like, let's say you had to fire somebody. So let's say you had an employee and you had to let them go, and you're stressed about it because you feel bad and you don't want them to be upset. You don't want them to freak out. Again, think about if you can imagine firing someone in the most kind and loving way. Right? The most beautiful firing of all time. Even just having that as an intention already changes even your own energy. Can you feel yourself, your even body relaxing? Even if you were the one being fired. Nobody likes being fired. But to think about someone coming at it in the most kind and loving way you can. And so that's how I begin. So you set the intention to have that kind of conversation. Then the next step is to just say how you feel. Just speak your feelings. Now, this might sound totally obvious, but I can't tell you how often I've coached someone who says, I got to talk to somebody about that. And I'm like, okay, well, it's great. Let's role play. And we'll role play. And they're like, okay, I want to say, you make me so mad. I can't stand it when you do this, or you let me down and you suck. And, and they go off and on how they're feeling. They're like, that's how I feel. I feel it was horrible. Right. But really what we know, and Jojo will recognize these kind of comments from me. She's nodding. I can see you like, oh yeah, this sounds familiar. In that it's so easy to get caught up in a judgment that we have about somebody and wrap it into what we say. That's how I feel. I feel you suck. But it's a total judgment. And when we come with judgment to a conversation, it will always go badly. People will always become defensive, or they'll freak out, or they'll get aggressive, or like bad things happen when you come with judgment. We know that, right? So when we feel judged, it doesn't feel good. So if you just say how you feel. So for example, I'll come back to my firing thing. Oh, I love it. Jojo's making notes as we go. This is beautiful. If I think about the letting someone go from a job example, is that you come with a loving intention. And so that you would begin that by saying, I feel anxious because I have to tell you something that's difficult. Even just to say that out loud. I just feel anxious. And the other person's like, oh, what, you're feeling anxious? Yeah, this is hard for me. Or I feel sad. I feel sad because we've looked at our books and we cannot continue to maintain the staff that we have. And I'm sorry to say, but we have to let you go. And I feel terrible about that, right? It's just saying how you feel. And it doesn't say they're a bad person or a bad employee or that they suck. And now, even if they actually did suck, for example, so I'll give another one. Let's say, I don't want to think, if you guys have some difficult conversation that you've been trying to have that I have trouble with that I could use literally, feel free to put that in. If you have a question that pops up, oh, well, what if, whatever, feel free to put that in the chat and Jojo will monitor that and I'll try to keep track of that. But anyways, the feeling thing is really important. So to think about, I feel anxious, I feel upset, I feel disappointed, I feel hurt, I feel scared. These sort of statements invite curiosity. So if I said to you, hey, Jojo, I got to talk to you. I'm feeling really a bit hurt. What's the first question you ask? Yeah, why are you hurt? Right? Do you see? Immediately it invites curiosity. I lean in. You are? What's wrong? Right? Why is that? Why are you scared? Why are you sad? Why are you anxious? Why are you confused? Those sort of things, yes, are what I call primary emotions. And they're just the truth of how you feel. And you see, there's no judgment. I didn't add, I feel sad because you were a jerk. I just said, I feel sad. Right? You can say, I feel sad that you didn't keep your promise. That's okay. You can give context. But again, there's no blame. There's no judgment. You can just say, I feel upset that this happened. This worried me. This scared me. That kind of thing. And then the third part of this difficult conversation is to speak a desire. So again, come back to your intention. Your intention was to have a loving, good conversation. Your intention was to clear the air. Maybe your intention was to reconnect. Maybe your intention was to set a boundary. Whatever your intention was that you wanted to be in the most loving and kind way, then you come with your desire. So you've told your person how you feel. You've hopefully given them a chance to say how they feel. And then you can say your desire. Well, what I'd like is, for us to remain friends, or what I'd like is for us to keep in touch. What I'd like is for us to commit that if we say we're going to meet at 6 o'clock, we always do, or whatever is your desire. And so you have an ask so that your person is really clear about how they can, what you want. There is no ambiguity about this. So often, I don't know if there's only women on this call. It looks like there's only women, but in the event that some men ever hear this, I guess this is the Empowering Women series. So I guess there's no men allowed. So, but what I know that women are famous for, and I have been a card-carrying member of this club myself, but we tend to hint when we want something. We tend to just sort of like hope people know what we want. I find this in relationships with people I coach all the time. Oh, okay. Jojo, is that a question? What is that?
what happens when the other person does not respond to your emotion? So they stay detached and unaffected by your pain and your sadness. So if you express that, then
and they say what?
They say they're detached or unaffected.
Like what would that sound like? Give me an example.
Can you give me an example of that? Somebody's asking me privately, so I don't want to.
Oh, I see. So they don't care?
Is
that what you mean?
I think I'm waiting for them to respond. Okay. So when somebody's detached or unaffected, I guess, so if I said to you, hey, Beth, I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling hurt about this. Can we chat for a second? And you said, it doesn't matter that they hurt you, is what their answer was.
Okay. So perfect. So if they remain unattached, again, here's the part about it. It actually doesn't matter, because your intention was to have, loving and kind conversation. Your intention was to express yourself. Your intention was to try to reconnect. You have no control over anybody else and how they react or respond to you. So that's where you can't be attached to them, liking what you have to say, being excited about what you have to say, or even caring what you have to say. Your goal was just to express and say, I feel hurt and I would love it if you would stop doing that. And they might say, well, screw you. I don't really give a shit. Well, again, then you can decide what to do with that, their feedback. But that does not mean that you can't still express it and you can't stay in that loving, kind way. And you're like, wow, okay, well, this isn't going how I hoped. So I think we'll just end the conversation and, I'll talk to you later. And again, you can just still extract yourself from that. So when I hear, what if they don't do what then that tells me there's attachment to the conversation. And that, again, a conversation will always be difficult if you are attached to how that person is going to react or respond. It's the minute we have an expectation of somebody else, we set ourselves up for disappointment. So we just can't. Otherwise, you will always be prey to your happiness really being in the hands of other people. And that, I know it's a hard concept to think about, not care what other people think, but it really, really is true. You cannot be attached to what other people do. In fact, I've renamed a whole keynote I'm doing now, and it says that, life would be easy if it wasn't for everybody else. And, because that's really the gist of it. It's just, those darn humans, they're unpredictable. And so the only thing you can ever control, and even that is a lifetime mastery, is yourself. And for me, that's a full-time job, just controlling my own thoughts, emotions, feelings, beliefs, energy. I'm busy with that. I try to really not control other people at all. So hopefully that answered the unattached question. Okay. Does anyone else have a question? I feel like I'm on a roll. This 30 minutes is going to kill me. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I know. I said it's going to go by really fast. Like, it's so fast.
Okay. So what else do you want to talk about?
Okay, so you're going to say that to be attached to someone else's response to how I feel, that's in my hands, whether or not how I respond to that. Yes. And so if I'm still feeling hurt, can you give me like a tool or a thought process if it's that it didn't go the way I thought? Now I'm feeling hurt because I expressed myself. Worse. Yeah, now I feel worse.
You're vulnerable. Oh my God, it's even messier now.
And you pooped on my head, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent. Yes. Perfect. Well, for the sake of time, I'm just going to go straight to the chase because, now we only have 11 minutes. So if that's true, then I think that the idea here is that when you feel wounded by other people, whether it's a direct thing or an expectation, so I think you just really need to explore that, because if it's a true wounding on their part, if they're absolutely wounding you, then you should absolutely set some boundaries around that person in your life. So that's a boundary issue. If they continue to hurt you, if they don't care how you feel, if you express yourself in the kindest, most loving way and they say, I don't give a shit, well, then that's an invitation to me. Again, I only speak of how I would read that I need to set boundaries with that person, because that's not a person who is sensitive to my needs in the relationship. So, but I would definitely check in and make sure that my energy, my expression, my delivery of that was as clean and loving as possible. So there is probably a lot of nuances here. The alternative to that, if they do care about you, but they just don't share your point of view, or whatever, there's another reason, then the best thing to do is to forgive them. And then, then it's back to door number one. Get the hell out of there, set some stronger boundaries. But, I would immediately move into a forgiveness process, because that is going to be stuff that you'll carry. And if you have any beliefs, and most women do, there's a part of themselves that we always don't think we're awesome, or there's a part of us that worry that we're not completely lovable or worthy or amazing, or we've been scarred up and we've some beliefs got in our head that we're not as awesome as we are. And if somebody comes to us as a mirror and says, hey, you're not awesome, it will reinforce that negative belief you have about yourself. So the third part of that would be probably to just explore, again, what is the most loving, kind conversation you can have with yourself. So there you go. That was like a 2-minute answer to probably a 2-hour workshop.
Right. And to love yourself, right? So to go back and take a look at really how much are you loving yourself?
Yes.
Right?
Okay, so I have a question here. That was messaged to me privately, so thank you. Okay. Says, how do you making the jump, not feeling stuck, having confidence to act? So I'm not sure where the question is in that, but are you looking for kind of tips on how to kind of take an action, like move forward in your life? Hopefully that's, I think, what you're getting at. So this is perfect. This question, hopefully I'm getting on the right thing. It speaks to what this other project that I was talking about. So maybe I'll just mention that, since this is kind of good. Because if I asked you all who are here tonight, or will be listening to this later, if I asked you that simple, most common question, how are you? Just type it in, how are you? And just give me your one-word answer. How are you right now? I want to just see your answers. Fine. Yep. Okay. How are you? Great. Okay. Good. Tired. Yes. All right. Grateful. Pretty good. Okay. Beautiful. Great. Actually, I'm excellent. Okay, so there's a reframe on that. Beautiful. So I ask women these questions all the time, especially when I speak. I was like, how are you?
I'm going to stop you for 1 second.
Yeah.
Because I think that you have your wrong earbud in. So switch sides so your microphone's not banging on you.
Oh.
There you go. This? I know we do that all the time.
Okay, sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry, it's fading away. Thank you. See, I don't even know why I even go on these calls without people supervising me. I really don't. I tell you. Okay, thank you. Sorry, everybody, banging around on myself. Okay, blessed, beautiful. So here's the thing. I really want you to sit in that in that idea of how am I? How am I really? Because I find that so many women I ask that question to, and a few good men, will say something fairly middle of the road. Good, okay, all right. If we're really done a lot of personal growth work, or we're having an outstanding day, we might say that blessed or grateful or excellent. But most of us, give that rote kind of response. Good, fine, okay, right? And I am on a real rant these days around, I'm calling it the anti-fine revolution, really, in a way, because I don't think we ever set out our lives to be fine. I don't think that's our goal in life when we said, oh, when I grow up, I want to be just fine, or just pretty good, right? We didn't, but yet we find ourselves in this place in our life where we're good, and then there might be a but. Well, but I could use a bit more money, or but like the question asked, but I'm a little bit, hesitant to take action. I'm feeling a little stuck, but I really could lose about 20 pounds, right? So we have these pockets of our life that are not making us feel great. And so we tend to give that response. Aha, I'm fan-freaking-tastic. Fantastic. That's what I like to hear. See? Anti-fine. So that to me is what I call the opposite of fine, which is what I call being alive. So my colleague and I, Linda, my very good friend and neighbor, have started what we call the Alive Revolution. And I won't talk more about it really, but Joe just said I could maybe put some stuff in the Facebook group and I'll share a little bit more about it. But in the Alive Revolution is just giving, like I said, women and a really, a few good men who want to join the party, giving ourselves permission to be fully alive. And what that looks like in our lives, which means, doing a couple things different. So for example, to stop apologizing, for example, that would be one thing. And, I'm Canadian. I'm like pathological apologizer, so we apologize, we bump into people in shopping. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm a big apologizer, but I'm not talking about bumping into apologies or when you're a jerk apologizing. You obviously, I think those apologies are a good idea, but I mean, apologizing for having it all, for wanting it all, whatever it all looks like to you. So looking at every area of your life and saying, you know what, screw this. I deserve to be happy and rich and healthy and whole and sexy and and good looking. What's wrong with that? Right. And again, when I say stop apologizing is to not, because I think we have this tendency to want to, get along with everybody. We have to be a little bit dimmer. We have to, that idea that, it's more palatable to people if there's some problems in our lives. And that actually keeps us in this stuck, fine, just kind of pretty good space. And I'm kind of in this whole idea, is that, we are in this space where even, culturally, and I'm a little bit worked up right now because Hugh Hefner just died. So I just have a small little thing on that because everybody's like, oh, Hugh, and thank God for Playboy. And oh my God, it's so sad. The Playboy Mansion guy is dead. And I'm not saying anything disparaging about someone's death, but I have a hard time celebrating that, thinking of him as a hero when everything he built was around the objectification of women. So I'm in this mode right now about women and that we deserve a place to be alive. We deserve a place to be safe and apologetically awesome and be supported in that place. And that's really what the Alive Revolution is about. Okay, I'm looking this. Okay, put a little daily focus. Yes. So absolutely. I want to, again, that's the thing I want to give you is that give yourself permission to be unapologetic about your desires. So that would be number one. Number two, I already covered, was set more boundaries, right? I always say to women, have clean yeses and nos. So when you say yes, it'd be like, yes, I'd love to. And if it's not absolutely yes, it should be no. Or I need to think about it. That really helps in the aliveness category. Otherwise, we end up being kind of fine. And we agree to things we don't want to agree to. And the third thing that I think lots of women need to do more of, including myself, is to be quiet. We are very, very busy. I coach a lot of overachievers. And I would say, take the time to be quiet, to get still about what your soul is craving, about what your life is craving, about what you yourself are unapologetically craving, and go after it. So that's all I want to say about in 29 minutes or less.
I love it. It was good. I know you're like, I don't know that I can do it. But
this is killing me.
Totally
I'm saying right now, I'm dying. I'm not feeling alive right now. I'm feeling like I don't want to stop. But
so I invite you to post some stuff in the Facebook page about
Sure.
what you're working on. And so anybody who wants to be involved in that and get in touch with you will know how to do that. And we have a really great question in the feed, but we don't have time to address it. But what I would love to do, it's how do you go about not having so many expectations of others and allowing others to bring their relationship to bring their strength to the relationship, right? So
yes, okay.
So that's a really great question. If you would, we will ask you for one more thing I'm going to post that question in the page. Will you answer it in written form in the Facebook page? That would be lovely.
Am I in the Facebook page? Am I in that group?
I added you in there. And so it's just called Empowering Healthy Women. And so take a peek. I'm pretty sure I added you so I could tag you and people could see you.
Yeah, tag me. If you could tag me, that will help my technology.
So,
I can't even keep my microphone on straight. So whatever help you can do would be great.
Perfect. So since we are at time, we want to thank Beth for her always dropping wisdom on us, always giving us something so good and yummy that just lifts us up. And so thank all of you for being on. Oh, Liddy, I see you there. Congratulations on your new grandbaby. So everybody, say congratulations to Liddy, and thank Beth so much for being here. So everyone have a wonderful week. So remember, every Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel, we will be right here, and always with a different topic and something different and juicy each week. And so please be sure to go in and join into the Facebook group. And
Beth, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to start typing.
Just
if you have more questions.
Love you to death. Thank you so much. Everybody send Beth a kiss.
Mwah. Right back at ya.
Night, everybody.
Good night. See ya.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for everything.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Bye, lovely.
Bye, darling. Adios.